Hey Leap Inspire family! Welcome back to part 2 of our gripping tale, where hearts clash, secrets unravel, and courage is tested in the shadows of fear. Yesterday's part 1 left us on edge with Anna's fragile hope clashing against Rudra's iron grip. Today, we dive deeper into her story. A young woman trapped in a mansion of control, yet finding flickers of light in unexpected places. Will she break free from the storm that is Rudra, or will his darkness consume her? Grab a seat, because this journey is about to twist your emotions and keep you hooked. Ana woke to the faint chirping of birds outside her window, but the warmth of the morning couldn't touch the chill in her bones. The bruises on her skin throbbed, a cruel reminder of last night's terror. She lay still, curled beneath the duvet, Rudra's oversized hoodie still clinging to her frame, like a shield she didn't have the strength to remove. Her eyes traced the ceiling, searching for answers in its cracks. Why did he hate her so much? Why was she here, in this gilded cage, serving a man who saw her as nothing more than a possession? The memory of his hands, his voice, his rage, it all pressed down on her chest, making every breath a struggle. But then, a softer memory broke through. Arav's tiny arms around her legs, his innocent voice calling her, "Mama!" Her heart ached. She couldn't let that boy's light be dimmed by his father's darkness, not if she could help it. Dragging herself out of bed, Ana winced as she stood. Her body protested, but she forced herself to move. She had to keep going, if not for herself, then for the fleeting moments of kindness she'd found, with Kiara, with Jack, with Rudra's mother. In the bathroom, she avoided the mirror, knowing the reflection would only deepen her shame. The cold water from the shower stung her bruises, but she welcomed the pain. It was proof she was still here, still fighting. She dressed in a simple kurta, covering every mark, and tied her hair back tightly, as if pulling herself together physically could mend the cracks inside. Downstairs, the mansion buzzed with the aftermath of Arav's birthday. Balloons still floated in the hall, but the joy of last night felt like a distant dream. Kiara was already in the kitchen, her usual energy subdued as she stirred a pot of tea. "Ana, you okay?" she asked, her eyes scanning Anna's face with concern. Ana forced a smile. "Just tired. Long night." Kiara didn't push, but her knowing glance said she sensed more than Ana was letting on. The day stretched on with routine chores, each task a small anchor keeping Ana grounded. She scrubbed dishes, folded linens, and kept her head down, avoiding Rudra's study where she knew he'd be working. His absence today was a mercy, but she couldn't shake the feeling of his eyes on her, even from a distance. Every creak of the floorboards made her jump, expecting him to appear. By noon, Kiara dragged her to the garden for a break. "You need some air, girl. You look like you're carrying the world on your shoulders." They sat under a mango tree, the shade offering a brief escape. Kiara chattered about the party, about Arav's delight at his new toy car, but Anna's mind wandered to the little boy's tearful plea for his mother. "Kiara," she interrupted softly, "what happened to Arav's mom?" Kiara's smile faded. She hesitated, then sighed. "It's not my story to tell, Ana. But she's gone. Been gone a long time. Rudra doesn't talk about it, and you shouldn't ask him either." Ana nodded, sensing the weight behind Kiara's words. The mystery of Rudra's past hung heavy, a puzzle piece she couldn't place. As they returned to the kitchen, Anna's thoughts were interrupted by a small figure darting toward her. Arav, his eyes bright with mischief, tugged at her hand. "Come play with me," he chirped, holding up a toy plane. Ana froze, glancing around for Rudra. The hall was empty, but his warning echoed in her mind. "Stay away from my son." "Arav, I can't," she said gently, crouching to his level. His face fell, and the sight twisted something deep inside her. "Why not?" Don't you like me? His voice was small, and Anna's resolve wavered. I like you so much, she whispered, brushing a lock of hair from his forehead. But I have work to do. How about you show me your plane later? He pouted but nodded, running off with a promise to find her again. Ana stood, her heart heavy. Every moment with Arav felt like a risk, but pushing him away hurt more than Rudra's threats. The afternoon brought a new challenge. Rudra's mother, Mrs. Kapor, called Ana to her room. The older woman sat by the window, her hands folded neatly in her lap, her eyes soft but searching. Sit, Ana, she said, gesturing to a chair. Ana obeyed, her nerves on edge. I saw what happened last night, Mrs. Kapor began, her voice steady but laced with sorrow. I can't undo what my son did, but I can promise you this, you're not alone here. Anna's throat tightened. She wanted to believe her, but trust felt like a luxury she couldn't afford. Why does he do this? Ana asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Mrs. Kapor sighed, her gaze distant. Rudra wasn't always this way. He loved deeply once, but loss, it changes a man. He sees betrayal everywhere now, even where it doesn't exist. Ana wanted to ask more, but the weight of Mrs. Kapor's words silenced her. You're stronger than you know, the woman added, reaching for Anna's hand. Don't let him break you. Ana nodded, tears stinging her eyes. For the first time, she felt seen, not as a maid, not as a possession, but as a person. That evening, Ana was tasked with serving dinner. Rudra was at the table, his presence filling the room like a storm cloud. Arav sat beside him, chattering about his day, oblivious to the tension. Ana kept her eyes down, placing plates carefully, her hands steady despite the tremor in her chest. Ana, Rudra's voice cut through the air, sharp and cold. She froze. The coffee you made this morning was weak. Don't let it happen again. His tone was casual, but the underlying threat was clear. Yes, sir, she murmured, retreating to the kitchen. Her heart pounded, but she refused to let him see her falter. Kiera caught her arm as she passed. Don't let him get to you, she whispered. He's just flexing control. Ana nodded, but the words didn't ease the knot in her stomach. Control was all Rudra had, and she was caught in its grip. As night fell, Ana retreated to the library, her sanctuary. She curled up with a book, losing herself in its pages, but the words blurred as her thoughts drifted. Jack's offer echoed in her mind. You're welcome to come with us. Freedom felt like a dream, but the reality of her situation was a 3-year contract she couldn't escape. Rudra had bought her, not just her labor, but her life, her choices. The thought made her chest tighten. She closed the book and leaned back, staring at the ceiling. A soft knock broke her reverie. Mrs. Kapor stood at the door, holding a small tray of tea. Thought you could use this, she said, setting it down. Ana managed a small smile. Thank you. They sat in silence for a moment, the warmth of the tea grounding Ana. You remind me of someone, Mrs. Kapor said suddenly, her voice soft. Someone I lost long ago. Ana looked up, curious, but the older woman didn't elaborate. Instead, she squeezed Anna's hand and left, leaving Ana with more questions than answers. The next morning, Ana woke to a commotion downstairs. Arav's laughter filled the hall, followed by Rudra's deep voice, playful and warm. She paused at the top of the stairs, watching them wrestle on the floor, Arav giggling as Rudra pretended to lose. It was a side of Rudra she rarely saw, one that made him seem almost human. But when his eyes flicked up and met hers, the warmth vanished, replaced by a cold, unreadable stare. Ana hurried to the kitchen, her heart racing. Kiera was already there, prepping breakfast. Big day today, she said, tossing Ana an apron. Rudra's got some business associates coming over. We need to make this place spotless. Ana nodded, grateful for the distraction. Work was her armor, a way to keep Rudra's gaze at bay. As they cleaned, Kiera filled the silence with chatter about Jack's plans to buy a house, her dreams of a life beyond the mansion. You ever think about what's next for you, Ana? She asked, pausing with a rag in hand. Ana hesitated. I don't know if I get it next, she admitted. Kiera frowned but didn't press. They worked in tandem, scrubbing floors and polishing surfaces, until a shout from the hall broke their rhythm. Ana! Rudra's voice boomed. She dropped the rag and hurried out, her stomach twisting. He stood in the doorway, his suit impeccable, but his expression stormy. You missed a spot in the dining room, he said, pointing to a barely visible smudge on the table. Fix it. Now! Ana nodded, grabbing a cloth and rushing to comply. His eyes followed her every move, and she felt the weight of his scrutiny like a physical force. When she finished, he didn't acknowledge her. He simply walked away, leaving her to exhale shakily. By afternoon, the mansion was filled with guests, men in sharp suits, their voices loud and confident. Ana served drinks and appetizers, keeping her head down, blending into the background as Rudra had ordered. But Arav had other plans. He darted through the crowd, tugging at her hand. Ana, come see my new puzzle, he begged, his eyes bright. She glanced around, spotting Rudra across the room, deep in conversation. Not now, Arav, she whispered, gently prying his hand away. His face fell, and guilt stabbed at her. Later, I promise, she added, but he wandered off, shoulders slumped. Anna's heart sank. Every choice felt like a betrayal, of Arav, of herself, of the fragile hope she clung to. As the guests left, Rudra called Ana to his study. Her pulse quickened as she stepped inside, the door closing behind her with a soft click. He sat behind his desk, his expression unreadable. You've been avoiding my son, he said, his voice low but sharp. Ana swallowed. You told me to stay away, sir. He leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. And yet he keeps seeking you out. Why is that? Anna's hands trembled at her sides. I don't know, sir. I don't encourage it. Rudra stood, circling the desk until he was inches from her. You're a problem, Ana, he said softly, his tone more dangerous than a shout. I don't trust you, but Arav does. That's a complication I don't need. She wanted to protest, to tell him she'd never heard Arav, but fear sealed her lips. Stay out of his life, Rudra continued, his voice like ice. Or I'll make sure you regret it. He dismissed her with a wave, and she fled the room, her chest tight with unshed tears. That night, Ana lay awake, the mansion silent except for the distant creak of floorboards. She thought of Jack's offer again, of Kiera's laughter, of Arav's trust, of Mrs. Kapor's kindness. They were lifelines, but Rudra's shadow loomed over them all. She wasn't just trapped by a contract. She was trapped by his obsession, his need to control. Yet, somewhere deep inside, a spark of defiance flickered. She wasn't broken yet. She'd survived her past, her losses, her pain. She could survive him. The question was how, and at what cost? As sleep finally claimed her, Ana dreamed of a horse galloping free across an open field, its mane catching the wind. She was on its back, fearless, the chains of the mansion far behind her. But dreams were fleeting, and morning would bring her back to reality. The next day, Ana found solace in routine. She helped Kiera in the kitchen, their banter a small comfort. You're too quiet today, Kiera said, nudging her. Spill it. What's on your mind? Ana shook her head, managing a smile. Just thinking about books. Kiera rolled her eyes. You and your books. Ever think about living a story instead of reading one? Anna's smile faded. Maybe one day. Before Kiara could reply, Arav burst in, holding a drawing. Anna, look. It's us. The paper showed a stick-figure family, a tall man, a woman, and a small boy holding hands. Anna's heart clenched. It's beautiful, Arav, she said, her voice thick. He beamed, but Rudra's shadow loomed in her mind. She couldn't let Arav get too close, not when it risked everything. As the days passed, Ana walked a tightrope. She kept her distance from Arav, deflecting his invitations with gentle excuses, but each rejection chipped away at her. Mrs. Kapor's quiet support became her anchor. Small gestures, like a shared cup of tea or a knowing glance that said, I see you. Jack, too, remained a friend, though Ana avoided the stables, fearing Rudra's wrath. One evening, as she cleaned the library, Jack slipped in. You're avoiding me, he said, half teasing, half serious. Ana sighed. It's not you, Jack. It's complicated. He studied her, his easy smile fading. If he's hurting you, Ana, you don't have to stay. Kiara and we'd help you. Anna's eyes stung. Thank you, but I can't. Not yet. Jack nodded, respecting her silence, but his offer lingered like a lifeline she wasn't ready to grab. Rudra's presence remained a constant threat. His mood swung unpredictably, cold one moment, almost kind the next. One morning, he caught her in the hallway, his hand brushing her arm as he passed. You're doing well, Ana, he said, his voice softer than usual. Keep it that way. The words confused her, stirring a mix of fear and hope. Was he softening, or was this another game? She couldn't tell. But Arav's love, Mrs. Kapor's kindness, and Kiara and Jack's friendship kept her going, tiny sparks in the dark. Ana knew she couldn't stay in this prison forever. One day, she'd find a way out, not just for herself, but for the little boy who saw her as more than she was allowed to be. Until then, she'd endure, her heart quietly plotting its escape. Are you enjoying this series so far? If yes, type Episode 3 in the comments section below. Special thank you to those who dropped super thanks as cash. I'm deeply grateful. Once again, I'm Mr. Hope, your narrator. God bless you all, and don't forget that I love you all.